we are here and we are live. World Champs coverage. World Champs mega coverage here on Bet the Beach. My name is Krista Turk. I am pumped that you guys chose to join me here on your Wednesday night, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, if you're out there in Adelaide, Australia, for World Champs 2025. The final big event of the season comes every 2 years, World Champs, and we're here to break it all down here tonight. Something new here tonight. We are streaming live both on YouTube and on Instagram live at the same time. If you follow along with Bet the Beach on my Instagram stories, you will see that earlier this week, I think it was maybe Monday, Tuesday, Bet the Beach made its first cent, 1 cent, paid in ad revenue from our RSS feed. Huge news. The first official dollar bills, well, fractions of a dollar bill made here on Bet the Beach. Been doing it for 2 years, and we are now 1 cent in the black. I don't want to say in the black because I have spent some money on some T-shirts and stuff. So I guess technically in the red. Probably going to stay in the red, but we got that 1 cent. So what we did was we took that 1 cent and we turned it around and we invested it. We invested it in a free plug-in for our streaming software that allows us to be on both YouTube and Instagram Live at the same time. So if you're watching along on Instagram Live and you feel like you're missing out on some features of the program, visuals, stuff like that, feel free to hop over to YouTube. Have the ability there to give you a little more visuals, a little more watch-alongs, some snippets, pictures, photos, stuff like that. But we will be streaming live on both YouTube and Instagram tonight and throughout the course of the night and throughout the course of World Champs, because this is going to be a setup that you're going to see here very early and often as we head through the next 11 days of Beach World Champs 2025. We're going to do some live streams. We're going to do some gambling content, follow along on some picks. We're going to pick some special matches, like we got USA versus USA coming up here on the men's side, Shock and Shaw versus Evans and Buttinger in the same pool. We'll probably live stream that one at 3, 4 in the morning here on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, it's not much better for you. Games will start, let's see, on the West Coast. I'm not good with time zones, so give me a break here. If it's 5 o'clock here on the East Coast, that means it's going to be about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Games are going to start, and then games will get done sometime middle of the night. It's actually a little better for you guys on the West Coast. Here on the East Coast, we go about 5 p to 5 a. A little tough for viewing, but we do go through a couple of weekends, so we'll be able to stay up late and watch some beach volleyball. So again, we are both on YouTube and Instagram, so feel free to hop back and forth as you want. You can hop in the chat. We got the chats for both here up on the screen, so interact with me via the chat. You can DM me, or you can call the show. We do have the phone lines open, so go ahead and give us a call, 978-254-1707 if you want to chat beach volley, as our Beach World Champs mega coverage here gets going and should go now for the next 11 days or so. So things I want to talk about tonight. And go ahead, and if you haven't already, go ahead, get to the fridge, fill yourself up a beer. If you're into that kind of thing, if you're into rolling up a joint, smoking that while you watch the show, please feel free. I'm not here to judge. Please have a good time with that. But I want these World Champs mega coverage to be fun, relaxing, hang out, and I want them to be interactive. Because we've talked about it a lot over the past year or two that beach volleyball can at times be a little inaccessible, a little confusing. So what we're here to do in the program is hopefully increase your access as far as understanding knowledge, what's going on, when it's going on, and how it is going on. So let's start with the history. So Beach World Champs. So I started really watching beach volleyball in 2021, 2022. And what happened was we had a World Champs in 2022, which was 1 year off what it was supposed to be. World Champs is supposed to be every 2 years. It's been every 2 years with the exception of the COVID year. COVID pushed the Olympics back a year. The Olympics pushed World Champs back a year. So the 2021 World Champs were then in 2022, which was in Rome. So then we had another one 1 year later in Tlaxcala 2023. And then we had Olympics in 2024. So here I am sitting thinking, oh, we get World Champs in every non-Olympic year. That's been the case for the last 3 years. That wasn't, the Olympics. Not the case. No, it's a every 2 year event. So you get World Champs immediately after the Olympics, and then you get a break year, which will be next year, 2026. And then the following year will be another World Champs year, and then you have your Olympics. So 3 out of every 4 years, you have the big mega tournament at the end of the season. Now, Beach World Champs has been going on officially now since 1997. The first Beach World Champs was in Los Angeles, United States, 1 year after beach volleyball was introduced in the Olympic Games in 1996 in Atlanta. Unofficially, Beach World Champs started in Brazil. It was held every year in Rio from 1987 to 1996, 10 years of unofficial records of the Beach World Champs. Now, if you look up records of Beach World Champs, you won't see any results from that time. They are considering those unofficial, so we're going to leave those out of the conversation today as far as history of Beach World Champs. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go back at some information and hopefully share that with you to let you know the history of this tournament before we start seeing this year's version of Beach World Champs. So, officially, Beach World Champs starts in Los Angeles, United States, 1997. One on the men's side by Brazil, one on the women's side by Brazil. You're going to get used to hearing that from me here over the course of the next few minutes. 1999, 2 years later, Beach World Champs in Marseille, France. Won by Brazil on the men's side, Brazil on the women's side. Then it went to Austria in 2001, Rio, 2003, Berlin, 2005, Stade, 07, Stavanger, Norway, 09, Rome, 11, Starja Blanki, 2013, Hague, 2015, Vienna, 2017, Hamburg, 2019, and then, of course, what we just talked about, Rome in 2022, Tlaxcala in 2023, and now we're in Adelaide, Australia, down under 2025. Next up, already announced 2027 in The Hague, Netherlands. Winners of the Beach World Champs all time, Brazil, men. So the Brazilian Federation on the men's side has won 7 of these Beach World Champions. Now, let's count them up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 world champions so far. The Brazil has won exactly half of them. 7 out of 14 have been won by Brazil. The women, only one win behind. The women of Brazil have won the Beach World Champs 6 times out of 14 world champions officially all time going back to 1997. United States men have won 1 time. That was Phil and Todd. That was back in 2007, right in the middle of the Phil and Todd heyday. The United States women have won 5 times. That's the second most for either for the women, and it's the third most all time. Men, Brazil 7, women, Brazil 6. Then the United States women have the third most gold medals in World Champs history. That's 5 gold medals for the United States, and of course 3 of them, Misty and Kerry, 03 in Rio, 05 in Berlin, 07 in Stade. April Ross and Jen Kessie won in 2009. So the United States won 4 world champions in a row over the course of 8 years, and then won again most recently. They're the current defending world champions, Kelly Chang, with her then partner, Sarah Hughes, won just a couple of years ago in Tlaxcala. So that's the brief history of Beach World Champs. Basically, if you want to put it in a very tight little package, Brazil wins world champs more often than not. They're not the favorites this year on either the men's or the women's side, so we may buck that trend. And it has been since 2022 that there has been a Brazilian winner of the Beach World Champs. You can take a pretty good guess who that is. AP and Duda, gold medal winners of the World Champs in 2022 in Rome. Excuse me. That's what happens when you drink beer and talk. You get burp a little bit. Anyways, AP and Duda won most recently. So I wanted to look at current players that are playing in this year's version of World Champs that have won a gold medal at World Champs before. Not many of them. Players who have become 2-time gold medalists that are playing in this current version of Beach World Champs. We'll start with the aforementioned Duda and Ana Patricia. They can move into pretty rarefied air by winning it again. They would be only the second. They've become the third women's team all time to have more than 1 gold medal win. As I said, Misty and Kyrie won it 3 times. Brazilians, Shelda Bade and Adriana Behar, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, won the first 2 Beach World Champions in 1997, 1999. So AP and Duda with a Beach World Championships winners, and they're my favorites. We're going to get to the odds here in a little bit. I did make some futures. AP and Duda at the top of the list in my mind are the best team in the world. despite the fact that occasionally they, relax, take it easy, maybe mess around a little bit. I still, in my mind, best team in the world. I have them at my number one best odds, but we're going to get there in a little bit. But Duda and Anna Patricia can move into pretty rarefied air, become only the third team all-time to win more than one gold medal at Beach World Champs. On the men's side, there are no two-time teams to ever win Beach World Champions. There are players that have won it multiple times, but no teams have won it twice. Individually, Emanuel Rego of Brazil's won it 3 times with 3 different partners. Alisson, the Mammoth, of course, has won it twice with 2 different partners. Misty and Kerry won it together 3 times, as I said, and then the Brazilians, Shelda Bade and Adriana Behar, won it twice. So Duda and AP can move into a pretty rarefied air by winning it again. They'd become the second team all-time to do it together, or the second team to do it twice. Melissa Humana Paradis of Canada, paired up now with Brandy Wilkerson, won it back in 2019 with then-partner Sarah Pavin, now retired. So Mel has been in the top of the podium at Beach World Champs, looking to do it again. Pretty good odds for her to do it, coming off a silver medal in the 2024 Olympics in Paris. We'll see if Mel and Brandy can get back in a gold medal match. I get them at pretty good odds to do so, and again, we'll look at those odds here in a minute. And then Kelly Cheng for the United States, as I said, won it a couple of years ago, 2023 in Tlaxcala with Sarah Hughes. Kelly Cheng now partnered up with Molly Shaw. Kelly and Molly will be in the mix here starting tomorrow evening, Beach World Champs. On the men's side, there are 5 men, who have won a Beach World Championships gold. Can you guess who they are? Give me your guesses in the chat. Who are the 5 men that have won a Beach World Championships gold medal before? 2 of them, or I guess 4 of them, interestingly, are playing with the same partner. So there are 2 men's teams that had the opportunity to do what no men's team has ever done, which is win 2 gold medals with the same partner. Plenty of guys, as I said, have done it before individually, Emanuel Rego, Alisson, but no teams on the men's side have won 2 gold medals together. Peruzic and Schweiner won it back in 2023 from Czechia. I had them as pretty good odds. We'll take a look at the odds here in a few minutes. Molen Sarum won the most recent, won in Rome in 2022. So Norway, the Volley Vikings, looking to back up a bronze medal in Paris just a year ago in the Olympics. Molen Sarum, my favorites to win gold here in Beach World Champs in Adelaide. They're returning, so they can make history, becoming the first ever 2-time gold medal winner at Beach World Champs. And then, of course, Evandro. Evandro did it several years ago, back in 2017 with Andre. I was surprised to see that. I hadn't realized the 2 of them had played. I wonder who played defense on that. I guess it had to have been Andre. 2 now blockers, have been blockers for a while. So Evandro and Andre won it in 2017 in Vienna. Evandro out there with Arthur. And I really like that Brazilian team. As you know, huge fan of Evandro and Arthur. Look for them to make a deep run here in Beach World Champs. So that's the history of Beach World Champs. 14th, now the 15th official Beach World Champs. A little bit about the tournament. So let's get into just a little bit of a cheat sheet of background of what you are about to see. So we have, by the numbers, 48 teams per gender qualify for Beach World Champs. And again, if you're watching here on Instagram and you want to see some graphics that go along with this, please feel free to hop over to YouTube. You'll have the nice little cut sheets, and if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen them come up over the last few days. The cheat sheet for Beach World Champs by the numbers. 48 teams per gender qualify for Beach World Champs. 12 pools of 4 teams, which makes 36 pool play matches per day. Now, if you've been following the program, I don't want to go backwards too far here. You understand how Beach World qualifications happens. You can qualify by points. You can qualify via wild card. You can qualify via continental qualifying, I guess is a better way to say that, which is why you're going to see several teams in here that you may not recognize that don't play often on the international circuit. There is some rules about how to qualify via continental qualification. Each continent has the ability to decide how they send teams to World Championships, but the qualifying teams do need to be individually within the top 250 best players in the world, according to the FIVB. So there is a little bit of a check and balance there for a dark horse team that doesn't necessarily qualify to kind of game the system and get in. But there are going to be teams, as you see here, as I start showing you the pools and the teams. You're not going to recognize the names of the teams. Some of them come from the African continental qualifying path. Some of them from the Asian continental qualifying path, South American, and all that. So there are some teams you won't recognize on here, and then when you get to the odds, you're going to see that the odds will reflect that. There are going to be some pretty heavy favorites here in pool play. Pretty much every pool has one of these teams that's going to be the prohibitive underdogs. There will be one or two upsets maybe, but pretty likely you're going to see a lot of chalk when it comes to those continental qualifiers. So in any case, 48 teams per gender qualified, 12 pools of 4 teams. Now, how do we get to the podium? Pool play breaks down and eventually qualifies into a 32-team single elimination round. So what does that mean? It means the top 2 teams in each pool break. So with 12 pools of 4 teams, top 2 break, you get 24 teams into the next round. Then the top 4 third-place pool finishers break. So we've now gone from 24 to 28. So we got 4 more teams to qualify. You take the final 8 third-place pool finishers. They go to a lucky losers. They call them pigtail, whatever you want to call them. Of course, volleyball never making it easy to understand. Come on, guys. Can we please try to make this a little simpler? In any case, that's why I'm here. I'm trying to explain this a little better for you. The final 8 third-place pool finishers go to lucky losers, and that qualifies your last 4 spots. So you end up with 24 plus 4 plus 4 is 32-team single elimination, and there is a whole lot of math and algorithms and calculus that goes into how that's seeded. Over my head, if you want to go to it, the FIV posts it. It's all clear as mud on their website. I'm not worrying too much about that. The teams that you expect to be there are going to make it to the 32 teams. As far as where they get seeded, that's going to depend on how they finish in their pools and where they started as far as seeding, and it's a whole complicated mess that really what's going to happen is once the 32 teams are set, then they're going to give me a bracket, and then I'll give you the bracket. And I'll actually turn it into bracket form so you can see it in a bracket form rather than just trying to guess who's going to play who. After that first round of 32, we make it to the round of 16, then the round of 8 and 4 and 2, and we crown eventual and champion. So that is your cheat sheet. We got pool play going for 4 nights here. So as far as time zones go and time of play starts, let's talk East Coast for the purposes of this. And if you're on the West Coast here, just minus 3 hours. Games are starting roughly around, I believe it's 5:30 p.m. here each night on the East Coast. Let me confirm that for you. Yeah, so we're talking 5:30 p.m. Eastern time start for pool play each day. So that's 2:30 for those of y'all on the West Coast. And they will go until in the morning here on the East Coast. I think it's the final matches are at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. Here on the East Coast. So your final matches on the West Coast there will be at 3:30 in the morning. And that will make up 1 pool play day. And we have four full pool play days. I think we just said, what did we say, 36, 32 games per day. Make sure I can get that for you correct. 36 pool play matches per day. So we got 4 times 36. That'll get us through pool play. Then we get into the lucky losers, and that will start on November 18th is your day for lucky losers, and then your single elim round of 32 will start on November 9th. Let's talk gambling for a minute here, shall we? So I'm going to go and get up on my soapbox here for a little bit. I actually do have, I guess these are cranberry boxes, not soapboxes. I guess, yeah, I don't really know what a soapbox would be. Close enough to a soapbox. I'm going to sit in my chair anyways rather than hopping up on a box. That probably makes more sense. So let's talk gambling here for a minute. So it's called Bet the Beach, right? And gambling is a big part of how a lot of people consume sports. Part of my goal, part of the mission statement for Bet the Beach is to help grow the game, right? And if I can do my little tiny little piece of making this sport more accessible, more fun to watch, more entertaining to consume, that's what I'm here to do. And when I got into the sport, I started looking for odds because I'm not your conventional gambler. I'm not a big money gambler. I don't typically like losing money regularly, which is what gambling is, obviously. Which if I get a gambling sponsor, I can back off on that if you need me to. But regardless, I do like investing a little bit in a match that I might not necessarily be all too interested in or that invested in. say you got a 4 o'clock game and be at a sports bar, 4 o'clock, late afternoon game for those not on the East Coast here. We call them the 4 o'clock games, but, the late afternoon slate on a football Sunday. And it's, two teams I don't care about, San Francisco versus Arizona or something. And I know I'm going to be at that sports bar for 3 hours, hanging out with a friend, watching this one game on the television. I don't care about these teams, but if I pull up my odds and I see, I can get this team plus 4.5 points, I can get San Fran plus 4.5 points against Arizona. Sure, let's do it. We bet it, put $10 on it, something small, and now I'm into that game for the next 3 hours. Right, I'm invested. I'm living and dying because it's not really about the money. It's about the win or the loss. It's make it competitive. I see you, Connor Boyles, in the chat. Thanks for the koozies. Yeah, you got it, man. Keep on listening. We did have a picks contest, which will be concluded at the end of this World Champs. Connor, one of many that hopped in, gave me his picks, and has a chance to win the whole thing here with World Champs being worth so much. A lot of people still in contention to win our picks contest. So thank you, Connor Boyles, for following along. Appreciate you. Hope you're enjoying the koozies. Any case, gambling. So I started at the beach. I was like, let's do beach volleyball content with kind of just like a slight bias towards the gambling part of it. And then I started looking through the sports books. So I'm in Massachusetts, so I have, I think, 7 sports books that are available to me. And I look at DraftKings, really no beach volleyball odds to speak of at all. The only time I did see it was the Olympics. Other than that, I'd never seen a beach volleyball odds. More recently, that's changed a touch. And then I kept looking through them, FanDuel and all the different ESPN bet, all of them. I finally came to BetMGM, which as of last March was the first time I noticed beach volleyball odds in there for Elite 16s and the occasional Challenger event. No AVP gambling on there, but I was able to find limited odds for Elites and Challenges. And that was great. So I was able to start picking spreads, picking set spreads, and betting on my teams. And I found that with a pretty consistent strategy and putting some guardrails up, I was able to, make a little bit of money here and there. I think I started with $100. I'm up to $300 right now. I've never been below 100. So, it's just slow, steady growth. I'm not hitting at 80% or anything like that. I'm hitting I started at 64% my first year. And then after the Olympics, it went down, got down to like 57%. That's when you start losing a little money. Got, ate into my little coffer that I had built up, and now I'm back up, $350. My unit size is small, $10. I just upped it to $20. But here's the thing. I'd love to sit here right now and go through with you the futures to win Beach World Champs, because that makes a lot of sense, right? Futures are a way that sports books can make good money, and it's a way that fans of the sport can check in early or the beginning of a tournament. Beach volleyball is tournament-based, besides the AVP League and all that. Beach volleyball is a tournament-based sport. Futures are the key to, I don't know how I want to say that. I got to think how I want to say that. For a tournament-based sport, futures are critical, right? You gotta be able to bet futures. Who's gonna win the tournament? Who's gonna podium? Who's gonna finish top 5? Who's gonna finish top 9? Who's gonna break out of qualifiers? That kind of thing. To my knowledge, the only future that I've ever seen posted on a sports block ever that is legally available to us in the United States here were odds to win gold for the Olympics last year. And I did many episodes about my system for how I was going to gamble that. Successful. I had a great system. Ended up winning money, both the men's side and the women's side, AP and Duda, Amon and Helbig. Even though the odds weren't great, we put the right amount of money in. We made a little bit of money on both of those. That is the only time I've ever seen a future get posted by a sports book. So what I said was, all right, well, the least thing I can do for you here, beach volleyball fans, is handicap my own futures, because if we can't do this via a sports book, at least I can come up with some futures and post them for you so that we can talk about that. So what did I do over the course of the last couple weeks or the last couple of days? If you've been following along, I have been posting those odds. And we will start always with the ladies. Ladies first. 2025 Beach World Champs women's odds to win. Now, the thing that I like about doing this is it's a conversation, right? I posted this, and immediately the comments start flowing in. And I'll read some of them to you because that's why we did it. We want to get the conversation going. We want to start talking beach volleyball and building the community here where you can DM me and say, you idiot, you get Stammen Screen at plus 1,200? That's a terrible number to have them at. I went back and forth with my guy here. Very fun. Enjoyed it. Loved his comments. Let me see if I can find it for you because I do want to get to this conversation. My guy Chris Wilson on Instagram. I said Stammen Scroon, great value at plus 1,200. We were chopping it up. He likes TKN. We all do. Stammen Scroon should not be lower odds than Carol and Rebecca. Haven't been the same team that burst on the scene 3 to 4 years ago. Injuries and inconsistency makes them a team I wouldn't touch at plus 1,200. And I said, yeah, that's fair, I guess. Yeah, Stammen Scroon have been down a little bit lately. One of them has been hurt, half this season. Haven't played much together and just had a great result in Cape Town just a couple weeks ago, right? So we're doing this to get the conversation going, and get the conversation going we did, and there's people that have opinions, and I absolutely love it. We got Team Mets volleyball. Love to see Donlin and Detterberg medal. I think that's a tough road for Donlin and Detterberg in their first world champs together as a team. Of course, Julia Donlin has been playing at a high level for a long time. Betsy Flint just outside Olympic qualification just a couple of years ago. My guy Eric Cam Beach volleyball. Julie and Lexi have a ton of momentum. Of course they do. They won the AVP League and they're playing very well lately. Likes Kelly Cheng and Molly Shaw. Thinks that they should have been a little bit higher than this chart lists. We have AC Leonard going for TKN volleyball. They like that pick there. TKN volleyball at plus 250. Pretty good value, I think, for a team that has been the best team in the world this year. Brenda Watson saying, don't sleep on Carol and Rebecca. Can and have beaten everyone. I do like Carol and Rebecca a lot. I get them at plus 1,600 here, which puts them, just outside my top 10 in odds. I do like Carol and Rebecca. The problem for me with Carol and Rebecca is I don't see them winning like the 3 or 4 huge matches in a row that they'd have to win. I can see them winning 3 of them, but you got to win 3 or 4 in a row once you get into that round of 16. That's a tough one. Brandon Watson also saying, unfortunately, Mel and Brandy likely have the toughest pool. Dutchies have the wild card, and their pool is a tough matchup. We're going to take a look at pools here in a minute or two, and I agree. Very tough pool there from Mel and Brandy. So getting the comments going, getting the interaction going. You can't bet futures for some reason on Beach World Champs. Sports books, hear my plea. This is directed at all of you. DraftKings, FanDuel, ESPN Bet, BetMGM. I don't care which sports book it is. We need to get futures for beach volleyball. We need to get futures for world champs. We need to get odds to gold, odds to medal, odds to finish, top 5, top 9. We need that for our Elite 16s. We need that for our challenge events. And please, 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 can we get some gambling on the AVP? But the most important thing for me for a tournament sport is to get futures available so that we can gamble on them, because that will get the conversation going. It'll help grow this damn sport. And I mean that. I do think sports books desperately, desperately, desperately need to incorporate futures. Now, the thing about sports books with beach volleyball is they're nervous about the sport. And the reason I say that is because sitting here right now, we are less than 12 hours. So what are we? We're about 19 hours from the first matches of World Champs being played. As of right now, I can only gamble on 4, 8, 12, 15 of the 36 matches that are going to be happening tomorrow, and no matches after that. And as of this moment, I can't gamble on any women's matches. Of those 15 matches, all I can gamble on are money line odds. I can't gamble on any set spreads, handicap favorites, over-unders, who's going to win first set, second set, any of that. And if you've been following along, you know that set spreads are the place where you can make money gambling on beach volleyball. Set spreads, you take a look at some of the matches, and we'll look at the odds here for the matches that you can bet on right now. Mole and Sarum right now are going to be a number that against whoever they're playing that first round, and again, we'll look at it in a minute. It's going to be a number that you can't bet. You know they're going to win it, but maybe if the team's good enough and that gap is small enough, you can bet Mole and Sarum minus 1.5, or you can take an underdog at plus 1.5 sets. If they win a set, you win the bet. Now you can get it at a good number, at a good, at a good points, good value, and you can gamble on it. Half, if not more, probably 15 that you can gamble on right now. 12 of them you can't bet on because it's plus 2,000 or more, or minus 2,000 or more, and you just know it's not going to happen. So I implore you, sports books. I'll say it again. We need to get futures for our tournaments. Futures for World Champs is a no-brainer. You had it for the Olympics. Why can't we do it for Beach World Champs? The biggest, hardest tournament to win in the sport. I want futures to win gold. I want futures to medal. And I want those available like a week or two before the tournament starts, as soon as you have qualifying. And then we need to get to elites, and then we need to get to challengers. We need futures for these tournaments. It's something that's going to help people gamble on the sport and help people get interested in the sport. And I'm saying it from a perspective I want to help the sport grow, and I think that'll do it. I think it'll get people invested at a more recreational level. So sportsbook, listen to me. We need futures for tournaments. The next thing is we need to have odds for more games, more matches, and we need to have them out sooner, and we need to have set spreads and all other things available sooner. What I'm telling you right now is 20 hours out, you can only gamble on 15 of the 36 matches tomorrow. You can't gamble on a single women's match at the moment of the 18 that are going to happen tomorrow. And you can't bet any set spreads. Now, half an hour before those matches start, 20 minutes before, 5 minutes before, more matches will pop up available to bet, and more bets will be available. Set spreads will become available 5 minutes before the match starts. That's the sportsbook protecting themselves, and I understand that. But what we got to do is we got to figure out a way for the FIVB, the Beach Pro Tour, and these sports books to get together and figure out a way to satisfy the sports books' concerns, so we can get to a point where this is regulated enough where we can look at some odds. We're the only that I'm aware of, but we are definitely the preeminent beach volleyball gambling content site out there. And I can't sit here less than a day before this tournament starts and give you a comprehensive list of all the odds tomorrow, because those are going to come out 5 minutes before. So what I will do is, as soon as they come out tomorrow at 5:25 before the 5:30 matches start, when the odds do come out, we'll get through them really quickly, and we'll find the set spreads we like, and we'll bet them, and we'll post them for you. And we'll post them on our stories. Go to Bet the Beach on Instagram. They'll all be there. All the bets, every single bet that we post will be on Twitter, at Bet the Beach, and on Instagram on the stories, at Bet the Beach, throughout the entire tournament. I'd love to sit here every night before the next day and tell you, hey, this is what I'm looking at for tomorrow. This is what I'm looking at. I can't do that because no books give me those odds that far in advance. And it's a shame. And I think that that's the place that we need to get for certainly for Bet the Beach. It's going to help Bet the Beach a lot. But I think what it will also do is it's going to make gambling on beach volleyball more accessible for the common recreational fan, which, like gambling or not, beach volleyball needs a higher quantity of casual recreational fans, and gambling is a great way to do that. Gambling is a huge way to get additional eyes on your product, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy after that. So that was my little soapbox moment. Let me take a step off. I'm going to step off my soapbox and say thank you for hearing me out on that. That's a message directly to the beach volleyball sports books, to the beach volleyball regulating authorities, that we need to figure out a way to get futures involved in the sport. And odds, set spreads available more than 10 seconds before the matches start. So as far as odds to win for the futures goes, I have AP and Duda at plus 200. They are my overall odds to win. High pick. I think, in my opinion, the winner is going to come from one of those top two teams. And I would say I would be shocked if one of those two teams isn't in a gold medal match. Mel and Brandy are next up at plus 400. They are defending silver medalists from Paris. They have had a little bit of a quieter year, but we saw them make a run all the way to a gold medal match in Paris last year. Svenja Mueller, Sinja Tillman. Did I get that right? Sinja Mueller, Sinja Tillman. Mueller and Tillman, Germany, have been spectacular as of late. They got them just a little bit past that at plus 500. Tamela Victoria, been the best team in the world as far as results and points go this season. I think they're poised to have a breakout world champs. I'd love to see them in a bronze medal match. I think that's probably a good spot for them as a bronze medal match, Tamela and Victoria. And again, Brazil and the United States on the women's side have been dominant at beach world champs over the years. Sorry about that. So I would look for that to continue. At least on the women's side, world champs has been the story of Brazil and the United States, and I do not expect that to change much here in 2025. Valentina Guittardi. So I've heard a little bit lately from Sandcast, or I should say specifically Travis, that Kelly Chang might be the best player in the world right now. I love Sandcast. I respect Travis's opinion. I love what those guys do for the sport. They're doing the same thing that we're trying to do, which is help grow the game. I think if you're talking about best player in the world and Duda's name isn't the first out of your mouth, I think you're crazy. Personally, I think you are overlooking a player that is a generational talent in Duda. And then in my mind, I think you have to put Kristen Nuss in that conversation. I think you got to put Anna Patricia in that conversation. I think you got to put Brain in that conversation. But I think for me, Valentina Guittardi is a person who within a year or two here, we're going to be saying is one of the best players in the world. And that's no disrespect to Kelly Chang. She's been great. I mean, she has made Olympics now, 2 straight Olympic quads with 2 different partners, now attempting to do it with a third partner. So that shows you the versatility of that player. I think she's most certainly in a conversation for top 5 and, a lock for a top 10. But I like Valentina Guittardi. I like her a lot. And with new partner, Rekha Orsi-Toth, I think those two are coming into form. And I would love, if the sportsbook offered me these numbers, I would strongly consider Guittardi Orsi-Toth at plus 800. And I would even more love if you had odds to podium. If Guittardi and Orsi-Toth were a plus 4 or plus 500, which is probably what that would be for an odds to podium, give me Valentina Guittardi and Rekha Orsi-Toth at that number. I do think that they are a very legitimate contender to be in a gold medal match, and if not, I would not be surprised to see them in a bronze medal match. Anouk and Zoe having a great season, plus 800. Cannon and Kraft at plus 1,000. I think a great result for them as a bronze medal match. I think they've been great. World Champs is a tough tournament, so that's not taking anything from them. And to go back to that conversation I had with Chris Wilson on Instagram about Stam and Schoon, they got a wild card because they didn't play much this year. They weren't in a lot of tournaments. Stam and Schoon have been a favorite of mine for a very, very long time, and I think I only have them as low as they do because they didn't play much this year. Kelly Cheng, Molly Shaw, plus 1,500. Rebecca and Carol, we talked about them, plus 1,600. A dark horse. So I was just talking to my wife about this a few minutes ago. She asked the question, if you needed to pick a dark horse team to get into a medal match that people might not expect, or a team that maybe the books would be undervaluing, I like Alvarez and Moreno of Spain at plus 3,000. The TCU girls won NCAA championships last year. They were in the Paris Olympics last year. They've been playing great. They have not yet won consistently at the highest level, but I think they're getting close to that point. So that's a team right there that I think might be undervalued. So if you're looking at your books and you're looking at individual game odds, Alvarez and Moreno, and you like the number, I think the books might be undervaluing them a little bit. China, Germany, and then Dawn Lindetterberg rounding out the women's odds to win. For me, Bet the Beach against, again, handicapping these for fun only. We can't get these futures in the sports book, sadly. Let's go to the men's side here, and we'll look at some men's odds to win for Beach World Champs. Top of the pack, may not surprise you, the Volley Vikings, Anders Mole, Christian Sorum, plus 250 odds to win. And in my mind, on the women's side, as I said, it's APN Duda or TKN, and then it's everybody else. Amon and Helvig, plus 300. It's Norway, it's Sweden, and then it's everybody else, in my mind, as far as gold medal favorites, high gold medal favorites. It doesn't mean other teams can't win, but it's I'd be shocked to see a women's gold medal match that didn't have either of those two teams, AP and TKN, in it. I would be shocked if there's a gold medal match on the men's side that doesn't have either Norway or Sweden's first team here, David Amon and Jonathan Helvig. Fun note for you, if you are following along the saga of the Beach Volley Vikings, Anders Mole, Christian Sorum. There is Norway's second team, Hendrik Mole, Matthias Berntsen. Matthias Berntsen also a Mole. I think he's a Mole cousin. And then Norway's third team getting in the mix, I'm guessing via European continental qualification, Mole and Mole, Marcus, and I'm not even sure the fifth Mole's name. There are 5 Moles in this tournament. Of the 6 Norwegian players, Christian Sorum being the only non-family Mole playing for Norway. Crazy. And 4 of those Moles, Norway's second and third team, in the same pool. Just ridiculous. That's a family affair up there in Norway. And it's Norway's sport at the moment. Sweden having something to say about that too. Sweden's second team, Holting Nielsen and Elmer Anderson. As you see there, I had them down at plus 2,000. And I will show you very quickly here. I got a comment back on my Instagram earlier today from who? The greatest of all time himself, the thin beast, the Beijing beast, Phil Dahlhauser. In response to when I posted my men's odds to win, the young Swedes, meaning Holting. Let me try that again. Meaning Holting Nielsen and Elmer Anderson. Phil says, the young Swedes are a no-brainer at those odds. 7 likes on that one. So I have Holting Nielsen and Elmer Anderson there at plus 2,000, and Phil Dahlhauser thinks no-brainer at that odds to win the whole thing. And I'll say this about those young Swedes as Ramsey hops into the camera here for a little bit. Ramsey, say hello. Say hello to all the Bet the Beach followers. This is Bet the Beach pup number 2. You guys have seen her on the Instagram reels over the last year or so. It's her and it's Mia. And Ramsey always tries to get camera time when she can. Thank you for coming to join us, Ramsey. See ya. Ramsey's agreeing with Phil there, by the way, that plus 2,000 are no-brainer odds for Holting Nielsen and Emma Harrison. They've had a great year, no doubt about it. They've been a spectacular team. I think they just won their first gold medal in Cape Town, if I'm not correct on that. But they've won medals in the challenge events. They've won medals in the elite events. They're a team that's on the way up, and on the way up in a big, big, big manner. I'm sorry, Phil, but I would be a little shocked if they won gold. I just would be. I do think that Holting Nielsen and Anderson are a good contender to make a quarterfinal. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in a quarterfinal, but I think a gold would be a major surprise for me for Holting Nielsen and Emma Anderson, Sweden's second team. But working our way down the list, I said Molserum, Amund and Helvig. Stefan Bormans and Jorik de Groot, they are a personal favorite of mine. I think when I listen to the Sandcast boys, Try had Kyle Friend, Beach Pro Tour commentator Kyle Friend does a great job on the mic there. He's headed out to Adelaide. He's probably out there right now. Of course, he's out there right now. And Frito, their videographer, who does an awesome job with the behind the sand stuff. So if you haven't checked that out, go over to YouTube. Beyond the Sand. Frito doing a good job producing that, asking the questions, doing the interview, getting a lot of the social media stuff for Beach Volley World. They were talking about odds to win, and they did leave Bormans and de Groot out of the conversation for gold. They said Molserum, they said Amund and Helvig, they said Sharif and Ahmed. I think it was Frito who said, what about Boom Boom? Bormans, Stefan Bormans, Jorik de Groot. That's a team with Jorik de Groot, in my mind, he's a top 3 or 4 defender in the whole world. I love that team. I think I might be a little bit biased on that. I probably have them I definitely have them higher ranked than I think. So if these were official odds, ranked by BetMGM or FanDuel or DraftKings or whatever, and again, books, come on, start giving us futures. We need them. I think Bormans and de Groot are a little lower. I personally have I value them very highly, and I think they are a gold medal contender in any match that they are 100% for and they are ready for. And I kind of feel the way about Persic and Schweiner, although they've kind of backed off a little bit, been playing a little less. Bormans and de Groot, from my mind, are third, fourth, fifth best team in the world right now. Sharif and Ahmed, same odds right there. I feel they've had their best season of their careers for sure. They had a very profitable season, got on top of the podium a few times. Sharif and Ahmed playing great, just won in Newport just about a month ago. So I think Sharif and Ahmed could be there. And I think Evander and Arthur, I think without question, are your highest ranked odds for Brazil to get back on the podium. Now, we talked about it already. Brazil men have won 7 out of 14 world champs. I do not expect that to become 8 here at the end of the 15th world championship since 1997. But if a Brazilian's sitting on top of the podium here come 11 days, it's going to be Evandro and Arthur. I think for sure. And I got George and Simon there too as well. Andre and Renato. Interestingly, George and Andre playing on different teams in the same pool. So you'll see that match up here pretty quickly. It might even be a late tomorrow match. Ehlers and Vikler, kind of a down season for them, but I think at any time, you saw it in Paris less than a year ago, or just over a year ago, Niels Ehlers and Clemens Vikler making a dream run to a gold medal match and then eventually getting kind of swatted away by the Swedes, David Ahlman and Jonathan Helvig. David Ahlman, Jonathan Helvig. Get my names back and forth messed up today. I got Cuba in there, plus 1,000. Cuba can go unconscious from time to time. But Noslin Diaz and Jorge Aleo at plus 1,000. Persic and Schweiner, aforementioned. Jordan Simon. We already talked about Sweden's second team. We go down from there. So then I got to a very interesting question. We've talked about the decline. I think fall might be a far too aggressive term, but the decline of the United States Men's Federation in beach volleyball. So when qualification ended, the United States qualified 2 teams, and that's Miles Evans, Chase Bunninger, Miles Partain, Andy Benish. Now, due to a team having to drop out, that's the Netherlands team there, Vandervelde and Brouwer, the one team got bumped up and in. That was the team that was just on the outside looking in. It happened to be the United States team of Kame Schock and James Shaw. So the United States qualifies 3 teams out of a possible 4 for world champs. That's a tie for the lowest number of teams the United States has ever qualified. And if it wasn't for that drop out and sub in, the United States technically qualified 2 teams for world champs, and that would have been the lowest all time the United States have qualified for. So we've talked about it a lot in the past. I'm not going to get into it here in this program. That's not what the point of this program. That's not what we're trying to do here today. But the United States certainly on the men's side might be the weakest that they've ever been. I think I submitted that question to a Sandcast episode, and I think Travis and Tries. I think the question that I submitted was, is this the weakest the men's federation has ever been for the United States? And I think the question was, it has to be. It's probably inarguable that it is. The two teams that we did qualify, in addition to Kame Shock and James Shaw, who did get in, are Miles Evans, Chase Budinger, Miles Partain, and Andy Benish. Now, a conventional thought, or maybe if you hadn't been paying attention for the last 12 months, maybe even 8 months, you think it's a no-brainer that Miles Partain and Andy Benish would be the highest United States men's team to gold. And I worked on this for a while, and I went back and forth. And I put Partain and Benish ahead, and then I flip-flopped him and put Evans and Budinger. And I flip-flopped him back, and talked to my wife and flip-flopped him back. And ultimately, it was her that got me to leave it where it is, or put it where it is now, which is Evans and Budinger at plus 3,500, Partain and Benish at plus 5,000. So I'm saying right now that Miles Evans and Chase Budinger are, what is that, 30% more likely to win a gold than Partain and Benish. Which, if you're just looking at that, you think, man, that doesn't feel right. Miles Partain and Andy Benish, in the summer of 2023, won a medal of each color in 3 elite events. Montreal, Stade, boy, I don't know what the third one was. Ostrava, Paris, Hamburg, somewhere in there. 3 elite events, they won a medal of each color at the highest level. They beat Norway during that run. I think they beat Sweden during that run. And at the time, everybody's thinking, man, the United States has their next great team. And perhaps we anointed them too soon. Perhaps they're going through a sophomore slump. Perhaps it's something else. But they have not been the same team that they were for that 6 to 8 month stretch in 2023. And in 2025, they've been good and never spectacular. And meanwhile, Miles Evans and Chase Budinger have continued to get better and better and better and more consistent. And Evans and Budinger this year won their first Manhattan Beach Open. And Evans and Budinger, I think, got on a podium in a challenge event this season, which is something that Partain and Benish didn't do. Partain and Benish didn't even qualify via points for this World Champs. They backdoored it via NORCECA Continental qualifying bid. Now, they didn't play enough events, so that's something you got to say there, too. Maybe if they had played enough events, they would have qualified via points. But you can only go on what reality is, and the reality is the United States technically qualified one team via points for World Champs, and that's Miles Evans and Chase Budinger. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say they've had the better season than Miles Partain and Andy Benish. So I got Evans and Budinger there at plus 3,500. I got Partain and Benish at plus 5,000. And what am I really saying? What's the moral of the story there? And it's that United States is not going to end up on a podium here, most likely. And they're most certainly, I would say, very, very unlikely to win a gold medal at plus 3,500 and plus 5,000. So same question as far as dark horse. So where on the women's side, I said I'd like that Spanish team to surprise some people and maybe odds to podium. If there was odds to podium, I'd like to take them at a good number. I feel that way about IA and Bassereau for France at plus 4,000. That might even be a kind of a fun number to bet them to win gold, although I don't. You're probably throwing your money away at that point. But if there was an odds to podium there, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in a quarterfinal match and to give a team a scare in the quarterfinals for that French team. Andre and Hanato at plus 5,000, another French team, rounding off our men's odds to win. So that's it. That's our men's odds to win. And that is that's our futures for World Champs here coming up in starting here tomorrow. One more thing I wanted to get to here before I say goodbye tonight. And I probably should give you an idea of what we're planning for content. So let's do that now before we sign off. So over the course of the next 11 days, we got 1 million beach volleyball matches. They're going to happen in the middle of the night here on the East Coast. So I'm going to do my best to stay up, follow along, and each morning get you a recap of what happened the night before. So that if you are not a psychopath like me and you do enjoy getting sleep during the evenings, you wake up and I'll give you a quick little primer recap that explains what happened overnight. I may not do them each and every pool play match. I probably won't start doing them until we get to our single elim, but you will still get content out of me. If I have a bet that I love or a parlay that I'm putting together and it's all hinging on one match, we're going to go live. So keep your eyes here on Instagram at Bet the Beach, on our YouTube channel, Bet the Beach. We're going to be going live just like we are tonight, just like we are right now on both YouTube and on Instagram. And we will be, just firing off content as much as we can. So beach volleyball content right here on Bet the Beach throughout the course of pool play, throughout the course of Lucky Losers, throughout the course of the 32 single elim. We're going to be going live. We're going to be doing live watch-alongs, gambling content. And again, it's interactive too, as you see right there. If you're watching on Instagram, if you see right there, if you're watching on YouTube, the phone number 978-254-1707. If you want to hop in the chat. I did get a comment here on YouTube. Sorry, I may have missed that a few minutes ago. No Qatar in your top 3. That is crazy. Well, I have Qatar at plus 500. I have Bormans and DeGroot at plus 500. So technically, I have 2 teams in my top 3 coming from DOC Self. So technically, Sharif and Ahmed are tied for 3rd in my top 3. I have the same odds as Boom Boom and Jurek DeGroot. Another comment there by DOC Self, or Sweden's second team. They're on a hot streak. Hey, DOC Self, you're in good company. Phil Dahlhauser said the exact same thing as you not 5 or 6 hours ago. He said Holting Nielsen and Anderson at plus 2,000 was a no-brainer. So I have them down there, to be fair, at plus 2,000. I'll say this about, and I think I already said, Holting Nielsen and Anderson, if there was an odds to podium, I would love that number, and I would take it. And that number is probably going to be like plus 1,200, plus 1,500, plus 1,000 for them to podium. I'd like that number. I think they have a good chance of podium. I don't think they have a great chance of medaling. I don't see them beating Mullen Sarum in a quarterfinal or a semifinal, or a final. I don't see them beating their ones. I watched a match recently, and I bet Holting Nielsen and Anderson plus 1.5 set spread against David Adelman and Jonathan Helvig. And I'm going in with a logic thinking these 2 teams play against each other all the time. Nobody knows Aman and Helvig better than Holting Nielsen and Anderson. I can see them taking 1 set off these guys, and Aman and Helvig smoked them, just absolutely smoked them. And I didn't come anywhere close to winning that bet. Straight set victory, wasn't even particularly close. And then just like a few days later, same matchup again, Holting Nielsen won the whole thing. And of course, I didn't bet on that one. Thought I learned my lesson. Such is gambling, right? So I say all to say this. I do agree with you, DOC Self, and Phil Dahlhauser that Holting Nielsen and Anderson are a good team, good pick. I like it. I respect it. But as far as odds to win gold, I think all those teams ahead of them, in my mind, have a better chance of standing on top of the podium. Come here on November 18th. 23rd. Sorry, final day. That's your finals. Gold medal match and bronze medal match for men's and women's on November 23rd. All right, the last thing we're going to do here tonight is we're going to take a look at the odds for tomorrow. And I complained enough already about sorry. Just trying to get my stuff here, right? So I complain enough here about not being able to get sufficient odds. So you're going to see here that there's no women's matches yet because no women's matches have been posted. As far as odds, they'll all get posted 10 minutes before the matches start. So as soon as that happens and I find some odds that I like, I will put them on my story, and you can follow along and you can see everything I'm going to bet over the course of the next 11 days of pool play. But you see it up there on the screen again. And if you're watching on Instagram too, I have to remind you, if you go over to our YouTube over here, I guess it doesn't matter which way I'm pointing for you. But if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see that I'm putting all this content up on the screen for you as well. Not really enough space to do it on Instagram Live, so you just got to rely on the spoken word if you're on Instagram. But if you're over on YouTube, I got some beach volleyball odds here. The first matches of the day, Switzerland. Pretty close odds there, plus 120 for Krattinger and Dillier versus Heydrich and Jordan. That one for me is a pick 'em. I wouldn't be comfortable betting that. Mullen Sarum are minus 3,000 over Uruguay at plus 800. Can't bet that. Mullen Sarum win that in straight sets for sure. Diaz and Aleo are minus 10,000. Come on, can't do anything with that. Even if you did have a set spread there, the number wouldn't be palatable. Norway's second team, Mullen Berntsson, right out of the gate tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, taking on Norway's third team, Mole and Mole. Every player in that match is a Mole. I know Berntsson doesn't sound like a Mole. Matthias Berntsson is in the Mole family. Norway's second team is minus 525. Mole's third team is plus 325. That one, when the set spreads do come out, I might use the same logic I did there as I was telling you with Sweden's second team or their first team. Maybe you take Marcus and his partner, the Norway's third team, as a plus 1.5 set spread at a pretty decent number there. But probably not. Probably take Mullen Berntsson at a good number at minus that spread there. Portugal's minus 350 over New Zealand. Bormans and De Groot minus 1,000 over Ryan and Schubert. That one's a number we'll look to. If Bormans and De Groot get down to a palatable number at a minus 1.5 set spread, I would take them. But again, don't have that bet yet. Stay tuned on my Instagram stories. I'll put it there. Evandro and Arthur are huge favorites in their match. Germany's heading in Vust, minus 7,000 over Argentina. It's a good Argentinian team, which is why that number is so close. Maybe you take Argentina plus 1.5 once that comes out, and we'll keep an eye on that. This one does interest me. So tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Rotard and Gauthier Raw of France are at minus 235 versus the Bayo brothers of England. Bayo brothers getting a wild card into World Champs. Had a down year and an injury, knee injury, I believe. The Bayos are plus 155, which I don't hate. I might like Bayos plus 1.5 even a little more, so that's one I might put a unit on. Poland is minus 2,000 against the Chinese team. Poland's going to win that in straight sets, so maybe take them minus 1.5. Fetchner and Winters minus 210 over Dressler and Waller. That one for me is closer to a pick'em than the odds would give them. So maybe I take Dressler and Waller at plus 150 money line. I don't hate that bet at all. Final list here, we got Schalke and Shaw versus the bottom seed in that pool. Schalke and Shaw minus 650. Again, they qualified via a substitution for Brouwer and Van de Velde. Evans and Buttinger, same pool, taking on Immers and Penninga. That one's close. That's basically a pick 'em, minus 125 and minus 110 for Immers and Penninga. That's a real important match for Evans and Buttinger. What time is that tomorrow? That is tomorrow. Well, technically, it's Friday morning at 2:30 in the morning. So I'll probably be sleeping for that since Friday is a school day, sadly. But the winner of that match should win that pool. So Evans and Buttinger could put themselves in a very, very good position by beating the second-best team in their pool. And, yeah, I'm looking past Schalke and Shaw there a little bit. But we'll see. You never know what you're going to get with Schalke and Shaw. Amon and Helvig taking on Burnett and Hodges. Minus 110, so if I can get Amon and Helvig at a good minus and half set spread there, I take it. And then the final match, George and Simon. So it's George versus Andre. It's not George and Andre this time. It's George versus Andre. And the books like George and Simon, I do as well. Minus 140, George and Simon. I would take that. I'll give you that right now. That'll be the first bet that I will post tomorrow. And I might even wake up for it. 6 a.m., early Friday morning. We go live early Friday morning, possibly. Anybody interested in that? Let me know. Shoot me a message. Maybe we'll go live on that. George and Simon versus Andre and Hanato. George and Simon minus 140. I like the money line there. That's a good one. Let's quickly look through the pools, just so I can let you know what USA teams are in what pool. I did pull that up here, so let's take a look at it. As far as your United States women, we'll also take a look at Mel and Brandy because they're AVP buds of ours, so we always like to include them. We're looking at USA teams. TKN, the headliners of Pool C, they got Van Driel and Bekwee of the Netherlands, Victoria and Hedje. Sorry about pronouncing that name. The Brazilians' fourth team. Yes, Brazilians fours, Victoria and Hedje. And then a team that I do not recognize there. So your two qualifiers there, probably TKN and Beast Bekwee, Abby Van Driel, or the Brazilian team, but probably three teams come out of that pool. Cannon and Kraft, the headliners of Pool D, in there with a good German team, Ittlinger and Grun, Placette and Richard, a good French team. Let's see, moving on to Kelly Cheng, Molly Shaw, headliners of Pool G, in there with that Spanish team. So if you could bet into individual pools, I wouldn't put bad money on Spain winning that pool over Kelly Cheng, Molly Shaw. I think they could put a scare into Kelly and Molly. We'll flag that match too for you. Maybe we can go live for that one because that's a really good match. I like that one a lot. Donlin and Denneberg, the second team in Pool I, headlined by Valentina Guittardi and Rekka Orsi-Toth. Donlin and Denneberg in a very tough pool there with a good Australian team, Polly McDonald, and a good young Canadian team, Monkhouse and Belanger. Mel and Brandy, the headliners of Pool J, with Vieira Chamarou of France, Damen Schoen, Netherlands. As we mentioned from the comments earlier, Mel and Brandy in a very tough pool there, although they will break pool and they should win pool. If not, they're going to come second place out of their pool. So that's it for the women's side. United States team's men's draw. What do we got here? Partain and Benish, the third team in a pool headlined by Perisic and Schweiner, Plavins and Folkerots. Partain and Benish will break pool out of Pool H, but they might be the third breaking team out of Pool H, which would put them in a tough position. They could be the second team, although they did lose to that Latvian team of Plavins and Folkerots just a few weeks ago in Newport. So would not be surprised to see that happen again. As you can tell, I am a little down on Partain and Benish right now, and I apologize, boys. But it kind of is what it is. That's the way you've been playing lately. Shock and Shaw in Pool I with Evans and Bunniger, Paniger, and Emmers. We already talked about that. That's your United States. Look at the pools. Did I do enough talking? Are you guys tired of listening to me yet? You might be. Might be tired. I might be tired of listening to me at this point. So I guess with that, we will sign off for tonight, and we will call it a night. We got a lot of late nights coming up. So we got Beach World Championships 2025, Adelaide, Australia. 48 of the best teams in the world per gender, the toughest tournament to win in the sport of beach volleyball. I gave you the futures. I gave you day one odds. Head over to my Instagram stories each day for the odds that I'm going to pick, the odds I'm going to post. And follow along. Keep an eye out for Instagram lives, YouTube lives. I'll be promoting them when I'm going to go live. We'll pick certain matches. Again, hop in the chat like you have been. I appreciate you, DOC Self, and appreciate all the rest of you over there on Instagram. Connor Boyles, always happy to have you hopping in the chat and chatting it up and talking some beach volleyball. We got a community here, people. We're growing the community. That's what we're doing. We are going to grow this beach volleyball community via betting. We're going to grow this beach volleyball community via drinking beers, watching beach volleyball, talking beach volleyball, and having a damn good time. So with that, I say good night. Have a pleasant tomorrow. I appreciate each and every one of you. And we have an awesome 11 days of beach volleyball coverage coming soon. So I'll see you in a couple of days. See you.
Wake up, sunshine, let's go play. Beach volleyball is the way. Sand in my toes, sky so blue. Fun in the sun, just me and you. Bounce on the beach, set the ball high. Smiles all around when we reach for the sky. Surfs up and laughter's in the breeze. Join the podcast if you please. Adelaide, watch us fly. Under the sun we feel so high. Spike and surf, hear the cheer. Every day is summer here. Wake up, sunshine, let's go play. Beach volleyball is the way. Sand in my toes, sky so blue. Fun in the sun, just me and you. Bounce on the beach, set the ball high. Smiles all around when we reach for the sky. Surfs up and laughter's in the breeze. Join the podcast if you please. Dive and dig, watch us fly. Under the sun we feel so high. Spike and surf, hear the cheer. Every day is summer here. Dig, watch us fly. Under the sun we feel so high. Spike and surf, hear the cheer. Every day is summer here.